Hi everyone, welcome back to Canimando. Today I'm analyzing the film trailer of Wreck-It Ralph 2. The animation looks really good, so let's go into it.
Hey, kid! Wake up!
Ralph, what is wrong with you?
Start churning butter and put on your church shoes, little sister, because we're about to blast off!
Ralph, what is it you're trying to say?
We're going to the internet.
What? Okay, first, so he arrives, great, then she glitches. You can see how they hold the pose for about 2 frames and then change to the next pose, and the glitching helps to feel like she's actually moving. It's not like popping from pose to pose. And then the glitching stops and boom, she falls down. You can see this is a trick really used a lot in animation. When you have fast movements, many times you want to have the hands stay more or less in the same place, drag a bit, so they feel like they are the last ones to move to the next pose. Not all the time, but many times, like in this example, you have that, so the transition feels more fluid. Then also look at this line of action, beautiful line of action. So you have a really straight line of action here, then a really clean and defined line of action here, and then you have a more 2-angle straight and a straight line here. So it's really dynamic pose. And then you have the more complex the side of the silhouette with this leg here, and then the whole body settles to the pose. See how as the hips finish to the hips start to move up, the head still moving down, so it's like the wave motion. Hips, then torso, head, and back up. A little pause. What is wrong with you? You see the squash pose, wrong. The stretch pose on the face. What is squash wrong with you? So you have the stretch pose for a few frames, wrong with you.
With you?
Start churning butter and put on your church shoes!
One thing that I love about this character is how they get the beautiful silhouette from arm to arm. So many times you have that really nice and curved fluid line from arm to arm, so creating a really great silhouette. See here as well. Boom.
Shoes, little sister.
Also here, notice how you don't have to change pose all the time. Many times when you hit a pose that you really like, you can act within that pose. You don't need to change to the next pose. Maybe you can just gesture with the hands, or with the head, or a bit with the body leaning forward, or like in here.
On your church shoes,
Little sister. So the gesture is just like little sister, but he stays on the same pose.
Little sister, because we're about to blast off!
So also, see, because we blast off. Also, another thing that I really like, so see how he starts to squash down, and then he starts to lead with the torso. See how the torso, he starts to get that really nice and curved silhouette on the back as he starts to bend, moving up, dragging the upper part, and then boom, the upper part comes up and boom. See how the torso leads, the hand is at the same height as the head more or less, and then boom, the hand comes up. Boom. Also, another thing that I like is look at the head, how the head reacts. Boom. So as he touches the ground, see how we can perceive him hitting the ground again. So the head, boom, you can see the inertia, how the head rotates forward as a settle to that impact, right? It's really subtle, it's just 1 frame, but it adds a lot to the weight of the character. See? So he's falling down, and then boom, over one frame, the head rotates forward, and I also see how the breathing, right? So he just done a really fast movement, so we can see him breathing and how the breathing relaxes as the time passes, right? Progressively.
Ralph, what is it you're trying to...
See?
What is it you're trying to say?
We're going to the internet.
What? Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the
internet. Here I really like this shot because it's really simple. So here basically you have this shot, and you have to make him react to what he's seeing. He's gonna be surprised. Okay, so we could have here, let's say, an anticipation and then the surprise, and that could work. Yeah, he looks, anticipation and surprise. But what they did was add a lot of texture, a lot of personality, a lot of believability to the character. So look, so first you can see how he raises the eyebrows. So he opens the eyes a bit more, like he just opened the eyes. Then he realizes where he is. Then a bit surprised, whoa, he has seen something impressive. And then woo, the anticipation, whoa. See in this anticipation how they didn't close the eyes completely. The anticipation keeps the eyes open all the time. So it's just your choice really many times. But most of the times you do want to close the eyes for the anticipation. So you have the reaction in 3 phases. So eyebrows raise up, open the eyes a bit more, then small surprise, whoa, you notice the mouth as well, how the jaw drops down a bit and the corners of the mouth get closer together. And then ooh, and squash pose on the face, whoa. See how also the eyebrows lead the action, so the eyebrows start to come up and then the jaw drops down for the stretch pose. So you have the squash and stretch pose. See how the mouth settles, whoa. And also the top of the head, you can see for the stretch pose, it's not like stretch pose and they hit the pose and they stay on that pose. You have a recoil, so stretch pose and then settle back a bit. So it's not recovering to the original shape, but you see that back and forth, the ooh, stretch pose, and then so you have a little overshoot, stretch pose and settle back. See?
Wow, look at all this stuff.
This is the most beautiful miracle I've ever seen.
Welcome to the search bar. What can I help you find today? Umbrella, umbrage, umami.
No.
Noah's Ark, no doubt. Nordstrom Rack, ergonomics, urban outfitters, cool.
I'm pretty sure he's just trying to guess what you're gonna say.
My autofill is a touch aggressive today.
This one, I love this shot. What I love about these shots many times is how they accentuate the dialogue. So you don't have to accentuate the dialogue on the beat all the time and with specific gestures. Many times you just, if the dialogue is more fluid, maybe to accentuate the dialogue, to synchronize with that dialogue, you just want to have a fluid motion. So for example here,
Sure, he's just trying to guess what you're gonna say.
My autofill is a...
see?
Say.
My autofill.
My autofill. So the accent on my autofill is not really an accent, but it's synchronized with the audio. My autofill. So it's even my autofill. So the movement is even. My autofill. My autofill.
My autofill is a touch aggressive.
My also feel is a touch aggressive, so it's a touch. It's like the pose. So my auto feel is a touch aggressive. So you have see how they mix the audio and the actions so that they are timed out. They help each other to convey the emotions and add the contrast to the animation.
Is a touch aggressive. My autofill is a touch aggressive.
What touch aggressive?
Is a touch aggressive. My autofill is a touch aggressive today.
Today.
Let me try. Take me to a website.
Also, see how the today. See how the mouth, as the mouth says to and moves to the left, the head rotates to the right, to, and as he says they, the head rotates to the left. So you have the today. So the head rotates just a tiny bit in the opposite direction to where the mouth is talking. So you have that contrast there. It's not like you have to animate it always like that, but you can see how you can add that variation. You can experiment. You can add that contrast everywhere.
Let me try. Take me to a website that's super intense and really nuts.
Oh, I only found one result.
Also, I really like how the glasses settle here. See? That wave motion is really fluid, like woo. Well, that's pretty much what you want to have, not exactly, but more or less in a character's body. When he jumps or he stops a fast movement, many times you want to have the settle, not like hitting the pose and that's it, or hitting the pose and recoiling back and that's it. Many times you want to have like the wave motion, like recoil back and forth and back a bit. So progressively reducing until and stops the movement. So it's not just like get to the pose and back. So it's like a wave like motion. He finished to settle to the pose.
Oh, I only found one result.
Oh, come on. Princesses and cartoon characters barf.
And here just wanted to point out, look at the blink, how the first frame is really clean. We see the eye completely. It's not like we see the white of the eye. We can see the eye from the first frame, and we can see how she's looking at him from the first frame. Then she finishes to open the eyes, and we can see how the eyebrows and the eyelids is into the pose. So we have first frame, then open, huge spacing, and then small, then medium spacing, and then small spacing. So you have one frame, medium spacing, big spacing, medium spacing, and settle. And you can see how the eyes are locked in the place. It's not like as she moves the head, the eyes are moving. The eyes are focused and the head can move wherever she wants, but the eyes are locked. You can see also how the hands, the body readjusts to the pose. It's not like just the head is moving. The whole body readjusts to the pose.
Hi.
Okay, first thing, notice how she arrives to the scene. So arriving, boom, settle. You can see how the body settles. So it's like the wave motion, hips, torso, head. So it's like woo. It's like a whip kind of motion, woo, and settle. She looks around. She realizes, oh, where am I? And then changes pose, like trying to look more delicate as she's around all princesses. And then hi. Cinderella with the thug life. So see how she breaks the shoe. Boom. The body drops down. Boom. Look at the wrist here. Boom. Look at the fluid arc. Boom. So she's doing two actions here, but see how the inertia from finishing one action flows into the anticipation for the next action. the elbow leads, and boom, the arm straightens. But you can see how they connect the two actions together. And it's not like the two actions are happening at once, but you have one action, a little hold, and boom, the next action.
Whoa!
And also, look how she doesn't just hit the pose and that's it. She hits the pose, and then as she settles to the pose, there's a small pause, and then a readjustment on the pose, like a bit more threatening of a pose, like like I'm still threatening with a broken shoe. You can see how the facial expressions get stronger. So the jaw moves forward a bit more. The eyes open a bit more. So you have that contrast, that variation. So you have fast movements, settle, pause, and then a tiny bit of a movement. And then another thing that I liked is how see how the face, look at the line on the face, the line of action. Also, when you pose in your character's face, you always want to have a line that flows from the middle of the forehead to the nose to the lips. So you don't want to have the lips to one side and then the nose pointing to the other side. So you always want to have that fluid line. So for example, here you can see how they exaggerated. You can see how the nose is bending to the side, the jaw is bending to the side. You can see that fluid line, mouth, nose, and forehead. And as she gets to this pose, you can see how they changed the line of action on the face to be to the other side. And also notice how the line of action also flows with the arm. So you could draw a line of action from the forehead, nose, mouth, and arm. So you can see how everything is connected. Beautiful line of action flowing from the arm to the head and the face. And then, but I also notice how, so here is dragging, and then as she stops, the jaw moves to the other side. So not only this pose, this jaw moving to the other side and changing the line of action of the face is gonna add a lot of contrast, add variation. But as they animated, so it's not like this, the jaw is like that in this frame. The jaw starts to change as she stops. So it almost feels like the jaw was dragging back, and then as she stops, the inertia of the jaw, boom, makes the jaw rotate to the other side. Although it actually conveys the emotion, they time it out so that it almost feels like it's reacting to the inertia.
Whoa, ladies, I'm a princess too.
Also, look at the lips here, how the squash of the lips and then relaxing of the lips. It's really subtle, but it's not like they get to the extreme pose and they hit the pose and that's it. But there is always that settle, like and a bit of settle.
Whoa, ladies, I'm a princess too.
What kind of a princess are you?
Do you have magic hair?
No.
Magic hands?
No.
Do animals talk to you?
No.
Were you poisoned?
No.
Cursed?
No.
Kidnapped or enslaved?
No.
Okay, here, thing that I wanted to point out, look at the shoulders. So how they use the shoulders to create the squash and stretch poses, and that overlap between the head and the torso. So you have that. So they lead with the head, and then as they lead with the head, then the shoulders come up, and then the head starts to come down, and then the shoulders come down. So you have head, shoulders, and then the shoulders come back up again. So head, shoulders, and head, shoulders. So it's head, shoulders. The shoulders seem to be following the head all the time, and you can see the hands as well. So the head leads, the arms, the hands stay in the same place. Then movements in opposite directions, and then the hands come back again. So you have that overlap between the different parts of the body, and that movement in opposite directions that always add appeal to the animation, right?
No, are Should I call the police?
Do people assume all your problems got solved because a big strong man showed up?
Yes! What is up with that?
This one is really great. What is up with that? So you can see how she hits all the accents. Yes, what is up with that? But are not really, many of them are not specific accents. So look, so yes, obvious accent. Yes, what is up? So next accent, what is up with that? So this is the next accent. So what is up with that? The accent is just dropping the arms. What is up with that? It's not like gesturing, but just like relaxing the arms. So here, but the accent that I wanted you to notice is with. What is up with? The accent in with is not really a gesture. It's just a transition for the anticipation to do the next accent. But they time it out, the spacing and everything, so that it feels like what is up with. If you have to say what is up with, and when you say with, you accelerate the spacing a bit more. Even if you accelerate it just a tiny bit, it almost feels like the gesture, the movement is connected with what she says. See? What is up with that? See the accent sounds. It's a princess. And you can also see how they don't have to react the same way to what's happening. You can see how she reacts scared, she doesn't care, she's thinking like she's crazy, she doesn't care either, and this one gets angry about it. You can see how also this one gets like, oh, she's crazy, and then relaxes the facial expressions, so it's not like always thinking that she's crazy. So it's like not always on the same facials, like you can have readjustments. Same here, it's not angry from the beginning. You can see how she moves into the angry pose. So make sure you know the character's personality before animating them, so you can choose wisely what you want them to react to and how you want them to react to things.
Ralph breaks the internet.
Shouldn't it be Ralph wrecks the internet?
Yeah, since he is Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, but break the internet, it's like a thing.
Right, it's just wreck the internet kind of sounds better, doesn't it?
You're not wrong.
Okay, so this one is one of my favorites for many reasons.
Ralph wrecks the internet?
Yeah, since he is Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, but break the internet, it's like a thing.
Here, what I love, it's like a thing. See how the accent in Islaika is not a gesture per se, but she moves the finger to accentuate. It's like a thing. So you have that contrast.
But break the internet, it's like a thing.
So it's just the movement of the fingers. It's like a thing.
It's like a thing.
It's like a thing. And the head as well. It's like thing. It's like a thing. Oh, notice the other hand as well. Thing. It's like a thing. They both move to the pose like a, and you can also see that this hand starts to move into the next pose. Firstly, as this one is still getting to the extreme, and then this hand first. So this hand first, and then the other one. So you have that overlap between the different parts of the body. It's like a thing. Beautiful.
It's like a thing.
Right, it's just wreck the internet kind of sounds better.
And this one also love it. Notice the lip sync, how it's moving around all the time.
Sounds better.
So how it rotates the lip sync. So as much as you can, and depending on how cartoony the animation is, see how sounds. So it starts from one side, sounds. So it goes to the other side. So down, up and to the right, up, squash, then down and to the left, and up and to the right. So you can see how they animate it. So the mouth is moving around all the time.
That kind of sounds better.
which adds a lot of appeal to the
Breaking the
animation.
internet kind of sounds better. Kind of sounds better. Kind of sounds better. Sounds better. Sounds better, doesn't it?
You're not wrong.
Wrong. Same with her.
You're not
You're
wrong.
not wrong.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Love it.
You're
See how she reacts and then she speaks? You're not wrong. Many times if you can make the character react and then talk, it's really powerful because we can feel their emotions before they speak, so it conveys more intensively that they are alive, because we don't feel the emotions through their words, we feel their emotions through their pose, through their acting, just through their pantomime.
You're not wrong.
Great! Well, that was it. That was the trailer of Wreck-It Ralph 2. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned a lot from it. And if you have any suggestions, leave it on the comments. And as I always say, check the description to see some cool things. And until the next animation analysis.